Hi witches, welcome to the Witching Week. Today is episode 122. In today's episode I'm going to show you some treasure I found last weekend, including some Whitby jet. We're going to be looking at the weather that we've had at the moment. We are going to be talking about a Psilocybin study that was done recently and the fantastic results that came from that. And we are going to be talking about black cats and the folklore surrounding them. So very autumnal episode this week. Grab a cup of tea, put some incense on, get comfy, and we'll explore the Witching Week. Hi everyone, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. My name is Wren, I'm the Cemetery Witch, and every Friday we get together for a cup of tea and a bit of a chinwag and just a get together, sitting in the kitchen with old friends. I'm so sorry I wasn't here last week. Even though I've got back into the swing of things after the summer holidays, I had a 50th birthday and a 60th birthday, which involved 2 trips away. I've got one last birthday at the end of this month. September's always like June. It's a really busy month for birthdays. So I may or may not be away in the first week of October, but I'll try my best to be here, but generally I'm back to a regular schedule. Today I am burning some Magic Monk and I am drinking pucker, lemon, ginger and manuka honey. That's what I'm drinking. I wasn't sure there. Yes, and I've got some candles on the go because it's cold. It's not cold outside, it's cold inside. It's cold, it's wet, it's gloomy, it's September, and we have well and truly entered autumn. So what's been happening in the last couple of weeks since I saw you? Well, I discovered that I have not been eating enough, and there's various reasons for that. But this is most likely why I have put on so much weight and have not been able to shift any. I have been eating more, and I am really pleased to say that I have much better focus. I mean, obviously that's obvious, but yeah, I just became a not very hungry person, and with various issues, it's difficult to eat more, but I am making myself. And yeah, I can do everything so much better now. I'm getting some sleep as well. I was not sleeping well, and yeah, obviously just was not getting enough in the way of nutrients. So I'm going to be talking about the magical vessel, our bodies, over on Patreon soon. But I want to just tell you about my 2 trips. So I went to York. I had a quick 24 hours, a whirlwind trip from just one evening to the next with my parents. It was my lovely stepdad's 60th birthday. He's only just old enough to be my dad. And we did a lovely trip up to York. So we did the York Centre, which my folks had never done before. We did the York Castle Museum, which they also really enjoyed. We had a lot of fun there. In fact, their sort of theme was moving parts and things that were automated. And they had some of those old-fashioned fortune-telling boxes, you know, the ones with a weird creepy man in that spit out a fortune for you. So that was really, really good fun. And then we went to the National Railway Museum, and it makes me laugh because my mum and stepdad have been together for sort of somewhere in the region of just over, I think, 20 years. My dad has never, ever mentioned, not once, that he's really, really into trains. So he sort of surprised us all last week when he said that he really wanted to go to the National Railway Museum. So we did that. That was the last thing in our day. We were all exhausted by that point, but it was absolutely fantastic. We managed to get a Nepalese meal on the first night, and then a lovely Italian the second night before we came home. So absolutely fantastic. Then I had a day at home to kind of sort myself out, sort my kit out and get some rest, which I really needed. And then I went up to Whitby for my best friend's 50th birthday. We had a long weekend up there. It was my first trip in probably 10 years without my hubby. I was very nervous about this because of my bladder and bowel problem, my ME and my heart problems. but it was absolutely fine. I had such a good time. I'm so very grateful for the trip, and I would just love to shout out to Tara. Happy 50th birthday, Tara. She has been watching since the inception of this channel. So yeah, we had an absolutely fantastic weekend, girls only, and it was just so nice. We went on the beach, we ate lovely food, we had a quick glance at some of the jet shops in Whitby, and yeah, the time just seemed to fly really, really quickly. We played some games, we stuffed our faces, and just had loads of fun. So I want to tell you about Whitby. Some of you will have never heard of it, and plenty of you will have visited. This was my first time. Whitby is a seaside town on the northeast. It's in North Yorkshire, and it has a very busy and bustling maritime, mineral and tourist economy. So when we're talking about minerals, we are including jet in that. I'm going to tell you all about jet. It's famous for its jet. It's also famous for its kippers, for its herring and whaling fleets from the past. It's famous for Captain Cook and the Endeavour. So the Endeavour, his ship, was actually built in Whitby. It's famous for Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it is known for its huge abbey, which is one of its oldest and most prominent landmarks. It sits up on a big hilltop, sort of on the cliffs, overlooking Whitby Harbour. And Whitby's also got a couple of piers. It's much bigger than I anticipated. I don't know why. I thought we were going to a small fishing village that had maybe one or two pubs, and I thought it was just going to be kind of fairly rugged and we would mainly be on the beach. I did not realise how popular it is, and it's really popular, absolutely rammed full of people, and as I said, really quite big. We did do the beach, we did restaurants, we did the Dracula experience, we went looking for jet, and there are jet shops everywhere in Whitby. So I'm going to tell you about jet. I'm going to show you the piece that I found. I got a couple of bits. Let's show you this. So I found some, which is absolutely amazing. So the conditions weren't ideal apparently. The best time to find jet and fossils and things like that is when the sea has been really, really stormy, and obviously everything's been churned up and then it gets deposited on the beach. So I really want to go. I want to go back when it's been stormy. It's been stormy this week since we got back. In fact, the day that we came back was really stormy, really windy, and the following day or two would have been absolutely perfect. This Whitby jet, so jet it's really light. It looks kind of fairly plasticky. Whoops, it's so light that it's just popping out my fingers. And it's very, very black, which is why you get the term jet black. It leaves a brown residue when you scrape it on like a white stone or rock. So other things will not leave a residue, or they might leave a black residue if it's like little bits of coal. But this leaves a dark brown residue. It's sometimes known as a lignite. And it's basically the compressed remains of ancestors of the monkey puzzle tree. It became popular when Queen Victoria used it. She favoured it for mourning jewellery when she lost Prince Albert, but it's actually been used since the Bronze Age to make beads, and the Romans used to mine it up there as well. It's considered a gemstone, even though it's basically a type of coal. So it's been put under pressure and has sat for millions of years and then gets washed up on the beach at Whitby. So absolutely fascinating. And I wanted to tell you about some of the magical properties of jet. It is said to protect against the evil eye. It's considered a stone of luck. It's considered a purifier, so you can pop it in with your other gemstones and it will cleanse them. It dispels unwanted energy, so it will like draw that negative or unwanted energy in and then get rid of it. It strengthens and lifts the spirit. It It's protective, it helps us work through our emotions, especially difficult ones. It helps us to break negative patterns. It brings clarity to difficult situations. It's very soothing if you're grieving, so like in the case of Queen Victoria, and it allows us to be kind to ourselves. So I think it's like the perfect mental health stone. I did find some other treasures while I was there. I don't think you're going to be able to see these in great detail, but I found this gorgeous piece of ceramic which has got wiggly lines on. Maybe you can see that actually. I found this gorgeous black stone which has got some like gold marks on, but it doesn't look so nice now that it's dry. Same for the sea glass, that was like really glowing when it was wet. I found some proper pirate treasure, a 5p coin, and I also found, I mean this looks like just a little stone, but when this is wet it looks like a gemstone, and Tara is wondering if this is actually orange calcite, which is also found up in Whitby. It doesn't look very much like this, maybe it would if it was polished up, but certainly, whoops, when it is wet it's absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I was very happy with my little haul of treasures. We were so lucky to have good weather, hence us being on the beach. It was supposed to absolutely chuck it down on the Sunday, but that didn't happen until we left on Monday morning, so we were so jammy. But yeah, I wanted to show you in relation to this. So it's like rained here all week. It's been grey, it's been gloomy. It's like that at the moment. I wanted to share these shots that I took the week before. Just beautiful, beautiful autumnal mornings. Sunny, cold, clear. Yeah. September's a funny month, isn't it? It can either be just like really wet and miserable, or it can be really quite beautiful. What have you been up to? Let me know in the comments. Of course, we have the equinox on Monday at 19 hours, so around about 7:20 in the evening here in the UK. The autumn equinox for us in the northern hemisphere, spring equinox for those of you in the southern hemisphere, and we here in the northern hemisphere will be making the descent into darkness proper. Once we go past that point of balance, we are going to accrue more hours of darkness than light. And of course, once the equinox is past, many people start their countdown to Samhain. Autumn equinox is beautiful, there's no doubt about it, but I see everybody getting excited already for Samhain, so not long now at all. So while we're here, I want to actually tell you about October's Patreon, because we are doing Samhain Witchcraft. I hereby invite you to join us. October is always our bumper month in the year over on my Patreon, as we're witches and druids and magical folk, and we all love October and Samhain so much. I make this my special month where I just kind of thank everybody by doing loads of posts. So there is at least a post for every day. Last year we had ghost stories. This year, as I said, Samhain Witchcraft. So if you are interested in any of the kind of magic that we can do around that time, then come and join us. There are so many good things coming. You can get 30% off of your first month of Patreon between now and September the 30th using the code GHOST30. It will give you a glimpse at Patreon for 30% off, and yeah, depending on when you join, depends on whether that discount will go into our October month. It's a bit of a treat this year. I want to tell you what we've got coming up in October because it is really exciting. We've got 6 rituals at the minute. We've got a simple binding spell, we've got an ancestor knot ritual, we've got a liminal key spell, saying goodbye to the year, I'm talking the Celtic year here, we've got a crone ending and release spell, and we have got a cord cutting ritual. We're going to be looking at liminal magic. We've got several recipes. We're going to be looking at Samhain deities. We're going to be looking at a whole tables worth and how they are connected to Samhain and what they represent, but we're also going to be looking at the crone and the morrigan in greater detail. We are going to be looking at incantations, prayers and chants. I can't talk today. I've got an ancestral flame tarot spread, a short story, the newsletter, grimoire sheets. We've got a cheat sheet for the crone and so much more. So if you are a friendly, approachable, respectful person who's serious about learning about witchcraft and you just want to do it from home at your own pace, then do come and join us. You would be very, very welcome. So next up, I want to talk about a study that was published in 2021. It was some time before then that the study actually happened, and now we have got to the 5-year mark where patients with clinical depression and major depressive disorders were treated with naturally occurring psychedelic compounds, in this instance psilocybin. I'm so happy to say that many of these people, so 67%, 2/3, are still completely free of symptoms 5 years later. They were in severe psychiatric distress and they are now considered to be in complete remission. I think this is just such an amazing thing. They think that the therapy that they had is the most meaningful that they had tried. They had tried all sorts of things, and they even saw the treatment as being as profound and as meaningful as large events such as the birth of a child, which is really, really saying something. The treatment was combined with psychotherapy, and the patients believed this type of therapy to be the most safe, meaningful and important that they had tried. They absolutely loved it, and it has heralded great results. So magic mushrooms, anyone? I really, really hope that we take this and we use this to better our world. Unfortunately, there is a lot of money in big pharma. There's a lot of money in keeping people unwell and unhappy. And obviously everything that grows on this earth, well, not everything, because some things are poisonous, but you know what I'm saying, that the things that grow on this earth quite often have uses for us as humans, failing that for animals. And we have everything we need here on earth. We just need to be awake to that and be open to that. So yeah, absolutely fantastic news. And let's hope we're coming to a bit of a threshold point at the moment. I think you'd probably agree. There's a lot of very sad things happening at the moment, and it feels like we're building up to something. And I hope that once we go past that and lots of things are sorted out, I hope that we use these sorts of treatments and we really start putting people first over profit. So over to Zambia now. 2 men have been sentenced to 2 years plus hard labour for attempting to kill their president using witchcraft. The prosecution invoked colonial era laws to hand them down these sentences after Leonard Phiri, who was a village chief, and Justin Mabulis Kandundi had professed witchcraft. I'm sorry, I've probably butchered those names. They were arrested in a hotel last year. The staff heard some strange noises. I must admit, I sort of semi-laughed and raised my eyebrow at that. But on their person, apparently, a live chameleon in a bottle, a red cloth, an animal's tail, and some other strange items were found. So they were arrested, they were charged, and they've now been convicted. The case has drawn international attention. As you might imagine, there is a tension between traditional beliefs, colonial era legality, and modern politics. It has obviously raised the question on how a modern legal system can be used or hijacked to prosecute cases related to magical practices. And obviously witchcraft in Africa is quite different to the witchcraft of modern spiritual practices. But anyway, yeah, 2 men were actually convicted of trying to kill their president in this way. Another lovely story that I read about relates to black cats. So I thought, as we're getting closer to Samhain and Halloween, which black cats are a symbol of, I thought this was the perfect story to report on. So a trio of black kittens have been employed by the North Yorkshire Moors Heritage Railway Line. They were sleeping rough by Grosmont Station, which is up in the Yorkshire Moors area, and they are now keeping the rodent population down and charming guests to the railway. They are called Titch, Clinker and Ash. They have their own cat house, so one of the small station buildings is theirs, and they can disappear into their little cat house whenever it is becoming too much. The public are absolutely loving seeing them, as you can imagine, and apparently they are still under training. I mean, they're only kittens. The station has always had shed cats. There's always been cats there to keep on top of the rats and the mice. So yeah, it's a happy story. We've got tradition continuing. There's always been cats or a cat at Grosmont Station, and these cats have a home. They are absolute beauties. So I thought we would touch on black cats and their folklore. In the UK, a black cat crossing your path is actually seen as good luck. I think over time there's been a lot of confusion about black cats, and now we seem to think that they were seen as a negative thing, but apparently they've always been quite good luck. In Scottish law, a black cat arriving at a new home indicates prosperity. In Welsh law, a black cat will bring good health. In Japanese law, they're also seen as good luck. In Latvia, they represent prosperity and a good harvest. And in Thailand, they are also auspicious. They bring prosperity to their owner. And in Germany, a black cat walking from left to right is seen as good luck. So although we might think that black cats come with negative superstitions, it's actually the opposite. And on the whole, black cats are seen as a very good thing. There is a common myth that black cats are harder to get adopted. They're least likely to be adopted, and this is widely debated. However, Cats Protection UK have said that about 70% of cats in their care waiting for homes are in fact black. And they think the reason for this is not related to any spooky superstitions or fears of bad luck, but instead that actually they're harder to photograph, which is really sad. People are not adopting black cats because they don't take a good picture. I think black cats are absolutely amazing. If I was to have a cat, I'd love a black cat. And part of that reason is that they're always really, really super affectionate. Now, apparently black cats tend to be boys in the same way that calico cats tend to be girls. Occasionally you'll get one that's the opposite sex, but yeah, apparently they're boys usually. And October the 27th is Black Cat Day. This is an initiative started by Cats Protection UK to try and encourage people to enjoy black cats and to sort of talk about their virtues and their benefits. So I don't care what anyone says, I think black cats are the best. And if you are going to adopt a cat, please consider a black cat, because they are quite often the ones left in the shelters. Right, we are going to do some cards now, and then that is us for the week. Let me know how this week has been, what you've been up to, if you've seen anything special or anything witchy or anything spooky. We are heading towards Samhain, and yeah, I enjoy spooky stories at this time of year. I know Samhain and Halloween are very different things, obviously, but it all kind of ends up sort of rolling into one, doesn't it? I think it's okay. I think it's okay to have a crossover. I think it's okay to talk about our ancestors, and obviously do that in a respectful and reverent way. But as we are talking about the dead, I think it's okay to have some spooky stories in there too. Okay, so I've got 3 cards today. I've got Justice, I've got the Knight of Wands, and I've got the 3 of Cups. And this reading is about justice. as indicated by this major arcana card, Justice. This message isn't going to resonate with everyone, so if this seems like it doesn't fit you, or it doesn't appeal to you, or it's not talking to you, then it's not for you. So if you have been seeking justice on a matter, it could be a legal matter, could be otherwise, that justice is going to come. It's working its way towards you. It's there. It just has to arrive. Now, it might involve you being bold and being brave and speaking up. But if you do this, then that justice is a given. It is going to land at your feet. And the relief and the feel that you get once that justice has been served is going to be really, really palpable. You're going to feel that really, really strongly. And my advice to you would be to celebrate that. Celebrate that with your family, with your friends. I feel like this justice is related to a family situation. It feels like somebody has been treated unfairly. It feels like someone has caused a lot of pain for a lot of people. And it's going to take you in particular speaking up and speaking your truth for that justice to be fully served. That's not to say that justice isn't going to be served anyway, but to really, really, without putting too fine a point on it, but to really sort of like hammer that justice home, to get the full justice that you deserve. And you will celebrate with your family. It will be a cause for celebration. This is going to be such a huge relief for you. This is going to be such a win. This is going to be a huge battle overcome, that you are going to feel it in every fibre of your body. You're going to feel that, yeah, justice has been done, justice has been served, that the universe has paid attention and has done the right thing and has given the right result. But you have to be brave, you have to be bold, you have to be courageous, you have to speak your truth. And I don't like it when we say, oh, I need to speak my truth. There is the truth, but you have to speak that truth. But you will be okay, and you will see results for doing that, for stepping out of your comfort zone and for doing something that is very difficult. I sense a big bully here. I'm feeling a big bully that is upset and hurt and, you know, possibly scammed a lot of people. But you stand up and you speak your truth, and you will celebrate, you will reap the reward, and the people around you will be so happy and relieved that you did that. So there we go. That's the message for today, coming out of the cards and out of the clouds. I'm wishing you an absolutely fantastic week ahead. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And I will be here next Friday. Yeah, wishing you a lovely week. Let's hope it dries up a little bit. We've had a lot of rain now. I know the gardens need it. I know the reservoirs need it and stuff like that, but it would just be nice to have a little bit of September sunshine and warmth before we head into October. So wishing you a lot of love and blessings. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you next week.